and a championship bike like we see here in the Twins Cup. It really makes motorcycles for any kind of riding, whether you want to go adventure riding, commuting, street riding, or take on your local track. And thanks to the continued support of our sponsors and the ongoing partnership with MotoAmerica, we're able to continue to develop this bike to be even more competitive moving forward.
The third round of the Royal Enfield Build train race season will see a triple header here at the Ridge Motorsport Park. Miranda Kane leads the standings, having won the previous race of the season at Road America. In round about 5 minutes, we'll see 11 riders line up for the opening 8-lap race of the weekend. Steve English and Roger Lee Hidden here in the comp, and we're joined once again by Freddie Spencer and Roger. This race, obviously, we're going to be able to see whether position is going to be able to last in Road America.
Yeah, we talk so much on this show about momentum and getting things going your way. She goes and she wins her first race, and then she comes in this weekend, and now she's quickest every session and setting on pole.
Yeah, and Freddie, obviously what we've seen over the course of the season has been a lot of action.
Yes.
For Kira in second on the standings as well. She's been very strong.
Well, you know, Kara coming back from that crash as she had on the second race on Sunday at Road America, you know, getting back up to speed. She went quicker this morning. Everybody went quick this morning. Miranda's time was really good, and so she's definitely feeling confident.
And obviously, as we line up on the grid here as well, we'll be able to have a look at the championship standings where Miranda Kane is leading the way, as I said. And for Kane, she's got a 4-point lead over Cable, and then Shane McGregor up there third in the championship standings. Freddie, as we've seen already through the season, 3 races in, this weekend's a triple header. This is a massive opportunity for these riders to score a lot of points.
Well, in fact, that's what we talked about is that they've only had 3 races, you know, so far, and so 3 this weekend. A lot of things can change, and you can see it's really competitive with Kira, Shay, Cassie, Camille, Kate. They're all working on different things. Lucy, they're all working on different aspects of their technique to improve each and every time they go out.
And Rog, on the pre-race show as well this weekend, you're able to chat to Miranda about the lead up into this weekend.
Yeah, she's in a different position now, talking about she's got something to lose. Now if she crashes or makes a mistake, she's not used to that, and you know, now she's got the target on her back as well.
And obviously on that pole position, Miranda Kane, Ciara Knable on the 25, and then Shane McGregor on the 4-5-7. That's our front row of the grid. Only 11 riders in the field for this weekend's race. But Freddie, when you look at what we've seen through the season so far, obviously every race weekend, everyone's able to gain a lot more experience compared to what they had coming into it, and a good opportunity to have that growth.
Well, one of the things that they are always working on is their consistency, and working on that consistency takes breaking down a corner into individual sections, and that's what I talk to them about, the mental aspect about it, mental approach, and how to improve in that area.
Yeah, being able to give yourself that chance to develop through the course of the season.
Royal Enfield Build Train Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Here at the Ridge Motorsport Park, a very technical racetrack for these riders here in the Build Train race class. And Rog, when you look at this circuit, this is one place where on these bikes in particular, it's a very different challenge. You're trying to carry your roll speed through here. It's not about having that top speed or the acceleration. It's about being able to get through the corner. Yeah,
and tight and technical means a lot of challenges, and it's hard to learn for the ladies coming here for their very first year with the elevation all the way down to turn 9 up to 11. Finding those reference points takes a while.
And you can see here for the riders just the challenge that they'll face. A lot of elevation changes, track running at a minimum as well, so you've got to try and learn all the way through the weekend as we get ready for the riders to come through for the start of this 8-lap race. Miranda Kane on that pole position, championship leader and winner last time out, and we'll see if she's going to be able to be challenged. Ciara Knable on the number 25 machine. Freddie, she's been very fast and consistent, had a crash last time out though, and that's what cost her points.
Well, she's definitely, at Barber, she was very quick, and at Road America the same, and had that crash. But like I said, we got her bike fixed up, and she's back up to speed, and she should be okay. You know, Roger, you talked about the difficulty as we go through the starting grid here. the difficulty of this racetrack is the fact that there's so many blind entrances and blind exits and coming up over the rises. When we did the track map the other day, that was the thing and challenge was picking out reference points.
One thing too, Freddie, we mentioned this week on this track how some of the corners go together. Turn 13, if you mess that up, you messed up all the way through turn 16. So it's a challenging track.
Yeah, I love it. I'd love to have raced there.
One of the other challenges you have as well, the changeable weather conditions. It's a lot warmer today than it was yesterday here at the Ridge as well, as we see the last of the riders just making their way around to the starting grid. And this is the elevation changes that we see all the way around this track.
Yeah, bikes coming down then to the grid. It's going to be a fight between Kira Knebel and Miranda Kane from what I can see based on qualifying. But that is qualifying. Racing, as you know, Stephen, Roger and Freddie, is something very, very different.
8 laps of action about to get underway here for the opening race of the weekend at the Ridge Motorsports Park. It's Miranda Kane on pole position on that 186. We wait for the red lights to come on and this race to get underway. As we get ready now for the start of the racing here at the Ridge, and it's a slow start from the second row of the grid from Casey Creer, but down in towards turn 1, it looks like it's a good start from Shea McGregor, and then also it looks like it's the 25 of Kira Knebel leading the way, and Kira from the middle of the front row with a really good start to hit the front. This is what we saw last time out as well, Freddie.
You can see there that everyone got through. That's one of the things we talked about, Roger, is unique about this circuit is the fact there's a chicane right at the start of the race, and getting through that is the most important thing, is to get through that safely.
And that's the thing too, not get caught up in somebody else's mistake as well through that chicane. So you could tell all the ladies were giving a little give and take through there.
Obviously, with 3 races this weekend, it's going to be interesting to see how they evolve on that opening lap as well. But Kira Knebel on that 25 leading the way and making that fast start. She's been the fastest rider in this class over the course of the season so far, with 2 race victories to start off the campaign before that crash in race 2 at Road America. And for Kira, she's second in the championship standings. And you can see now at this stage as well, Rog, the importance of having that roll speed through these corners. It's all about having the momentum.
And that's the thing for her coming from that crash. That wasn't just any little crash. That was probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest crashes she ever had. And that's what makes it mentally tough to come back from those, is getting that confidence and believing in yourself and the bike again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The top 3 just making their way here, and Freddie, you can see already the top 3 breaking away from the rest of the field.
Well, it looks like the Kira had a problem under acceleration. Maybe she was in the wrong gear. One of the things the rider's been working on really hard this weekend, Rogers, is, and we talked about this at Road Americas, we went to a single rate rear spring, and so with Race Tech, and they're here this weekend, and they work with the riders to not only help them set up the bike, but to teach them how to set up a bike, and that's what part this program is about. It's certainly about racing, but it's about build and training and then racing.
And that's one of the factors as well, Freddie, for the build train race. Obviously the riders have to build their own bikes, then they get a few days testing to get themselves ready, and then they go racing as well. We can see Shea McGregor leading across the line here at the end of the opening lap. But what's interesting from it as well, riders in the past like Emma Batters able to become engineers in the class as well. You can see there though for Miranda Kane just going across those bumps in towards turn 1, she's able to take the lead. But for the riders after their 2 years in the class, there is a development path for them there as well.
You can see that Kira's leading the race here. You know, one of the things we talked about is when we do the track walks is looking at the surface, Roger. You know, as riders is how you go across stutter bumps, how much front brake you use. Those are all things that really become, you know, and very important that you're aware of and that you can take care of. But you can see Kira, she had that small mistake, but that she was able to come back, get in the lead, and then Miranda's trying to get around Shea.
Yeah, Miranda Kane on the 186 bike. Rod, she can't afford to give too much ground up to Kira Knebel at the front of this field, so trying to come through on Shea McGregor, but McGregor experienced in this class, having raced here last year as well, and for McGregor, she had 2 podiums, and they were in the first 2 races of this season, so she's in good form compared to last year in developing.
And this place is tough to pass. You almost have to set your passes up a couple corners early, and you know, you're trying to be patient, but you don't want to be too patient while the leader's starting to pull away.
Well, it's an easy racetrack to actually hold your line and block, you know, and kind of block pass. And, you know, Shea's doing a great job of protecting her position in second.
Yeah, that's really good racecraft there from the 457, and you can see for Miranda Kane, she's got all that extra speed, it looks like, Freddie, pretty much everywhere around the track, but not able to make those
Make
moves.
the pass.
So good riding, good defensive riding from Shea McGregor on the 457, but you can see again the 25 of Ciara Knable just able to open up that small bit of a gap.
And that's just the experience and the confidence to make that pass, to go for it. Okay, I can make the pass, and I'm going to get the bike slowed down.
Well, I know that Roger, we probably made a few block passes in our day, right?
One or two.
You know, one or two. So, you know, I talked about that.
Only when they were necessary.
Yeah,
though,
only when
and,
there's necessary, only in a fair way. Absolutely.
It's necessary now for the 186 of Miranda Kane, because last time around
I'm sure
she
she's
gave
getting
up.
frustrated. Yes, for sure.
And this is where it becomes tricky as well, Freddie, because when you're inexperienced, only in your second season racing, these are the moments when you need to have that bit of confidence, but also it's difficult to gain that confidence in only 11 starts in the past in this class.
Well, one of the things that the riders we talk about is that they do some riding in between the races and their own bikes, like, you know, Ninjas 400, you know, 400s or different brands, R3, Yamahas, R3s. And so coming back, these bikes have their own characteristics and very unique in what the feedback that it gives to riders and the riding style that they have to utilize and getting back up to speed. You know, so they've done some track days here, but not on the BTR bike. That is something that's not allowed.
What about the BTR bike as well? Because how do the forks feel? How do the brakes feel? Are you able to have that confidence to really try and push into those corners?
Well, you know, these bikes, I have one that I use when I train with them, and they're amazing how well they steer. Harris Chassis, Harris Performance Engineering. It's an older Grand Prix company that's been around for many years. They used to do the Yamaha chassis and the Rock chassis in Grand Prix racing. Royal Enfield purchased them years ago, 20 years ago. And so the GT650, which the BTR bike is based on, has a lot of racing heritage. Classic. You almost would call it more like a classic racing heritage.
Yeah, obviously for the Harris Engineering Group, they've been able to build Moto2 bikes in the past as well. And
absolutely.
A lot of experience for them from the engineering side. But the experience right now for Ciara Knable, it's allowing her to open up this gap. Shea's doing a good job to defend this position.
She is.
But for Miranda Kane, our pole setter, she can see those points getting away from her now. That gap stretching out to, looks like in and around that 3-second margin now. And this is where it becomes critical for Kane to be able to make her move. As Knable comes across the line, new fastest lap, 2:05.3, 2:06.5 last time around for Shea McGregor and then Miranda Kane. So for Kane, you can see she's climbing all over the back here of Shea, but she just isn't able to make that move yet. And the clock runs down very quickly in an 8-lap race.
Well, you can look at the lap times. You can see that Ciara, she's running a 2:05.3, which is faster than she ran in qualifying. She did a 2:06.1. But for Miranda had run a 2:04 or 2:05.2, sorry, in qualifying, and so she's not running the same pace, and so you kind of get the feeling that maybe she has been held up just a little bit. And again, I know it's probably frustrating. She's going to try to make a pass.
She's worked this move here the last couple
has.
laps around the outside.
Yep.
Just cannot get close enough to get the position.
And Rog, that's one of the things as well, where when you're trying to make the move to the same place lap after lap, sometimes you do need to change it up a little bit and just try and catch the other rider by surprise.
Yeah, and that's the thing here with this track, with it being tight and technical the way it is. You know, I mentioned earlier that you have to almost set your passes up a couple corners early, get a little different line going than the person in front of you.
You can see still looking down here at the Ridge Motorsport Park, and this is the battle for third. Ciara Knable leading the way on the number 25 machine. On this lap, she's already been able to pull out half a second in the first sector again, and just matching the times in sector 2 are the two chasing riders, Shea McGregor on the 457 and Miranda Kane on the 186. So Ciara Knable doing a good job just to maintain her consistency, and more than anything as well, Freddie, maintain that concentration. Easy whenever you've got the pit board telling you big lead.
Well, one of the things that too, to set up a pass is you get a drive, especially on a track like this, you got to get a drive off that previous corner. You know, one of the things we talked about on the track walk was about getting the bike off the corner, getting a good drive off the corner to try to set up a pass on the next corner entry. Because if not, it's just a drag race, right, Roger? I mean, you're just, you know, like in this case, you can see that's where Shea's doing a great job, protect the inside line, but it looks like that Miranda got a good drive off coming onto the front straightaway and was able to make a pass under the brake.
That was a great pass.
It was.
And able to be able to, you know, when you pass somebody, Freddie, like that going into turn one, the hard part is not out-braking yourself and
That's
running
right.
wide. You know, you just got to get a little bit in front of them. And Shea McGregor, she's going 2 seconds quicker than she went in qualifying.
Yeah.
At the front as well, Ciara Knievel a second faster than we saw in the qualifying session. It was Miranda Kane that took that pole position, and this is the move into turn one. And you could see there as well, Rog, able to run very close to that inside curb, shows a bit of confidence to be able to make that move.
Yeah, and she picked up the bike as well as she went over that bump, and that's good.
That was good.
Riding.
That was really good pass, and she was, and because the bike definitely got unsettled.
This is a good opportunity now for Shea McGregor on the 4.57. Shea's third in the championship standings as well, and good chance in this one to be able to score some decent points once again. She's had 2 podiums already this season. She finished second in the opening races of the year, and she's giving herself that opportunity for another podium here. But Miranda Kane, Freddie, it looks like just able to open up that small bit of a gap over Shea McGregor now at this stage as we start to look back to see who's in 4th position. It was Kate West on the number 772, and indeed it is Kate, and she should just be in front of Camille Conrad. And for Camille, she's around about 5 seconds down on that. And then we've got Lucy Blondell in there as well, around about 2 seconds back. So this is where we've got the biggest fight on the track right now. The 93 of Brianna Everett, and then Casey Creer trying to chase her down as well. But battles all the way down the field. Everyone out there, Freddie, with something else that they're trying to fight for. And I think that's especially the case whenever you're one of the riders coming in for your rookie season.
Well, you can see the riders certainly in the back that haven't had much experience here at the Ridge, and as Roger, we talked about earlier, this racetrack is so technical that it's very difficult to learn. But as we go back up front here, you can see that Miranda's, did she able to make, yeah, she ran a 2:04.6. So Miranda's picked up the pace also.
You can see she's pushing that into turn one, bike a little bit unsettled. And that's just part of it as you get going quicker and things like that. Your lines change. She's going quicker than she went, and now maybe she needs to pick up the bike a little bit more than she's used to.
We'll see here, but yeah, Ciara Knievel, she did a great job. You know, she going into this weekend, you know, one of the things she talked about in the first session, she just wanted to get up to speed, you know, because I had to change the bike. In fact, the whole front end, there was a lot of damage, so we had to go to a different chassis. And for her, so this is all kind of a new setup, even though it's similar. The bike, of course, basically is the same motorcycle, but it's different. And so she's just been working up to speed and very patient about it, very methodical. We went over the different lines, and she talked about all the different places that she wanted to improve, and she knew she could be more efficient here, quicker here. You know, all the things that we talked about, Roger, it's exactly the same. And I like that because they're very practical in that respect. They break down the corner and they learn that. It's one of the things we talk about. You know, of course, Ciara being in her second season, you can see there, you know, that she's getting a little bit of a stutter bump. One of the things that she was working on in practice was the bike. She felt like the front really wasn't setting. So we raised the rear, get some more weight on the front. It's certainly paying off for her.
And Freddie, just when you look at the changes you're able to make to these bikes, how adjustable are they for the crew?
Well, they're actually pretty adjustable. Like I said, K-Tech, the suspension system that we run, we do all compression, preloads, rebounds, just like you would, of course, on any bike, any modern motorcycle. And you know, they make a big difference, and all the riders feel it. You know, they feel the stability differences, they feel the direction change, you know, how the front feels, being able to carry more corner speed, and those are all things that Ciara was working on, and she felt very confident coming into the race.
She's really did a good job this weekend, just chipping away at it, not making up, building that confidence slowly by each session, and just getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
And Rog, when you look at it as well, for Ciara at the front, 2:04.4 is her fastest lap, and then it was 2:04.4, 2:04.6, and then the 0:47. Great consistency there at the front.
Yeah, great consistency. All three, the top three there, getting quicker each lap and being able to consistently run those lap times.
And this is where, with 3 races over the course of the weekend, you can see there for the 25 of our race leader, Ciara Knebel, just coming through in some lap traffic already at this stage. But when they've got that pace, it also means that for race 2, you'd expect those other riders to be able to make that step to be able to go with Ciara. And with 3 races over the course of this weekend, this is a good opportunity to really give yourself that chance to fight for the championship going into the second half of the campaign, Freddie.
Well, you can see that Miranda basically has kind of realized here that maybe she's not going to run Ciara down, and she does not want to make a mistake. And, you know, having her position in the championship, she knows that she's got a little bit of breathing room.
We're able to see here on the left-hand side of the screen, Ciara Knebel, our race leader, and then the battle for second position. And that bit of traffic as well could come into play. You can see from Miranda Kane trying to run that outside line the long way around the back marker. And it looks like Karina Simone is able to get out of her way. And we'll see if Shea McGregor is able to come through cleanly as well. It looks like Shea's got a good run to try and get down the inside into the left-hander. And if Shea's able to make that move cleanly, we'll see if she's been able to pick up a little bit of time on Miranda Kane as well. She does look a little bit closer. The gap had been 0.8 of a second at the start of this lap.
You know, Roger, the TV does not do that drop justice, does it?
Big.
You know, between 13, the waterfall down that hill.
Yeah, it's a really big drop there as well. And that was one of the things whenever I came here, obviously this is my first time here, to be able to see that makes this a really unique track as we take that white flag to start the final lap. And for Ciara Knebel, you can see a little bit more traffic in front of her now. That was Brianna Cutler on the number 35 machine, and it looks like Ciara's been able to clear her very easily. We'll see if Shea McGregor looks closer. Last time around, they basically matched each other's times, but McGregor looks like she's digging in on this final lap. She's got 2 minutes to try and move herself back up into that second spot.
She's getting a bit closer, but Miranda, it seems like she has it pretty much under control.
Just when you look at Miranda as well, we saw obviously with that lap traffic, she was able to keep a cool head in that as well. And around a track like this, that's always one of the challenges. With all those blind corners, you're never really sure what to expect whenever you're coming through in traffic like that.
Well, you just have to be thinking ahead. One of the things that we talked about is visually is making sure that you're looking far enough ahead, having a reference point, and not get yourself caught out coming over a rise, running at a racetrack, and because there's not a lot of room for error.
Just looking at Miranda Kane now in that 186 championship leader coming into this race. She's going to hand that lead back to Ciara Knebel. It's been nip and tuck between them all the way through this season, but Ciara Knebel with a 5.5 second lead now on the number 25 machine, just halfway around this lap and halfway around to another 25 points and the chance to get back to the top of the standings. She won the opening 2 races of the year. This is a chance for 3 out of 4, and with a triple header this weekend, a real chance for her to be able to make a real claim, to be able to put ourselves into position to win this Build Train Race Championship as Ciara makes her way around. The gap back to Miranda Kane, 5.5 seconds, so Ciara's going to be able to enjoy her run through to the line. But you could hear there just that bike still bottoming out through that section.
Yeah,
Freddie, you talked
definitely.
about the elevation change into there, and Ciara definitely felt that, but she's able to survive that moment and give herself the opportunity to come across the line. And another 25 points here for Ciara Knebel as she wins the opening race of the weekend here at the Ridge Motorsports Park. In second place, our pole sitter has been overtaken. Miranda Kane has been beaten on the run to the line by Shea McGregor. Shea McGregor able to go from the outside of the front row, and on that final sector able to take the 20 points for second position as well. That's the 3rd time this season that she's finished in second spot. And for Miranda Kane, our championship leader coming into this race, she had the pole position. She was beaten on the run to the line by Shea McGregor, and that's going to be 3rd spot and only 16 points for Miranda Kane. But it's still 3 podiums in a row as Kate West comes across the line into 4th position, and good points on offer there for Kate as well at this stage of the season. But for our race winner, Ciara Knebel, really good reaction from that crash last time out, Freddie.
Yeah, that actually, she came back very strong. Had a good race plan for the weekend and through practice and into the race. But what a great last lap for Shea. Look at that. I mean, she ran a second quicker.
Yeah, great effort from Shea McGregor to be able to take that second spot behind Ciara Knebel, with Miranda Kane rounding out our podium finishers here at the Ridge.
Royal Enfield Build Train Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
The opening race of the weekend has been won here by Ciara Knebel, her third race victory of the season here in the Build Train Race Championship. And for Ciara, she was able to run very consistent pace at the front of the field to be able to win by 7.5 seconds from Shay McGregor, we can see here in the 4.57. And Shay was able to come through in that last lap, Rog, to be able to take the 20 points on offer for second.
Yeah, and it's just a great pass
Yes.
down into turn 13.
That was a great block pass.
Great block pass.
Yeah.
Textbook. You couldn't have did it any better.
Yeah, really good move there from Shay on the 4.57, and good aggression to see that as well, Freddie.
Yeah, absolutely. She wanted that on the last lap, and she ran almost a whole second quicker than Miranda, and I'm sure that's caught Miranda off guard.
Yeah, just in that sector alone, she was 3/4 of a second faster to be able to close that gap. We did see some traffic on that last lap, Brianna Cutler and Karina Samoas, and for Miranda Kane, could be a factor as well, just to have that little bit of an eye off the ball just for that split second, and suddenly it opens half a door. But Shay McGregor was making sure that she was coming through for that one. But once again, Ciara Knebel able to take her race victory. She's rolling down pit lane now, and for that third race victory of the season, she's firmly established herself as the fastest rider in this class, Freddie. But it's still a close championship battle.
Yeah, it's going to be, close, I think, all weekend, and we'll certainly see if Miranda, how she comes back in race 2 tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm impressed for Shay and very, very happy for her and all the riders out there. Everyone got through it, and everyone's going to learn and improve and be even better for tomorrow.
What's interesting as well is to see the step that everyone's going to be able to make tomorrow. We saw that the pace from the front three was actually very similar in terms of their fastest lap. So hopefully for tomorrow, we'll be able to see Ciara Knebel put under a little bit more pressure than this race victory of 7.5 seconds from Shay McGregor with that last lap move to take second spot from Miranda Kane. Kate West running up just outside those podium spots ahead of Camille Conrad. Camille having a good run through to come away with a top 5 finish. In terms of our championship standings, Ciara Knebel has retaken the lead at the standings. 75 points from a possible 100. She's had 3 wins, and then that crash at Road America. Miranda Kane 5 points behind Shay McGregor, 7 points down on the championship leader. So close battling at the front here in the Build Train race class. And Michael Hill, you're down in Parc Ferme with our podium finishers.
Yeah, I am down here in the pit lane, or rather in the Parc Ferme now, the podium area, with our top 3. Bikes just being put into position. We'll give Ciara just a chance to take off the helmet, then we'll step in and have a chat to her. You can see there the jubilation for Ciara, another race win. Another 25 points. She takes off the helmet, takes out the earplugs, which are used, of course, just to lessen the engine noise when these riders are racing. Let's go in and have a quick chat then with our race winner. Ciara, obviously disappointment after the crash in the last race, but bouncing back in true Knebel style with another win. Great job.
Thank you so much. You know, I couldn't be here without the team. That was a very bad crash, and it's incredible what they were able to pull off in the time that they were. My mechanic, Sean, I told him I had to win this for him because he flew out here early, rebuilt the entire thing, and it was ready for me to just button up once I got here. So it's so incredible what we're able to do with the support that we have here with the team and all of the sponsors that help make this possible for us. So huge shout out to Royal Enfield and all of the other sponsors involved for getting us those extras and being able to make this happen for me and all the other women here. So it's really, really important to us to be able to do that, and I appreciate all the people that are here watching us and everybody at home that is also helping make that happen.
Excellent, great job from Ciara. Come on, the Ridge Motorsports Park. Let's see you make some noise. Let's move around and speak to our second place finisher with a late move there to get on to P2. Good job, Shay McGregor. 20 points for the championship.
Yeah, that was a really exciting race. My goal for the race was to get a good start and run. And unfortunately, I got a good start and couldn't run fast enough. Ciara and Miranda rode great. I was super lucky to get a late pass on Miranda. I was screaming. I'm sure she was screaming. It was terrifying, but we made it happen. I've had a difficult time getting my K-Tech suspension dialed in this morning, but it looks like we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely on. Of course, 2 more races. Nice round of applause there for Shay. Let's move around and talk to our 3rd place finisher. And just if we can cut in here to get a quick interview. Thank you very much. Miranda, a great qualifying and another podium. Obviously, on one hand, I'm sure you're going to be a bit disappointed not to challenge for the win, but those 16 points could be very, very valuable at the end of the season.
Absolutely. This race was pretty difficult. It's a tough track in general, but then you put out some really good competition. It makes it even harder, especially to defend your line and not slide the rear out in the corners. So obviously, thank you to Royal Enfield and Build Terrain Race for the opportunity to be out here at the Ridge. You know, we got 3 races this weekend, so there's some more opportunity out there.
Absolutely, plenty of time for redemption. That's our top 3. Let's hand it back to the commentary box as we get ready for our next race, which is Twins Cup.
Yeah, more opportunities for redemption, and Miranda Kane with that podium finish, but over the course of this 8-lap battle that she had with Shea McGregor, that was the big talking point.
And Shea McGregor, as she mentioned off the start there, look at that, the way she goes down into turn 1, but doesn't make a mistake there, able to hold her line, and Kier was able to get out and just got in her rhythm sooner and get up to her race pace a little faster than the other ladies.
Well, then Kira had that little bit of a problem, but she was able to come back, which showed the pace that she had coming into the race today. And then it took a while for Miranda to get around Shea the first time, and that allowed Kira to get away. And then she finally was able to make the pass going down in turn 1. You can see here, and as Roger talked about, she definitely held it together there. You can see the front end bob a little bit, and then, but on the last lap of the race, that Shea was able to make that block pass in 13 to get second.
Ciara Knebel able to take that 3rd race victory of the season and retake the championship lead just in front of Shea McGregor and then Miranda Kane. A really good battle here in the opening race of the weekend for the Build Train race class, and they'll have another 2 options tomorrow to try and improve on that and bring the fight back to our championship leader, Ciara Knebel, who we can see here with her 3rd race victory trophy of the campaign and retaking the championship lead. But in tomorrow's race, it'll be our 3rd place finisher, Miranda Kane. They'll be back on that pole position as she tries to improve on 3rd place.
Excellence isn't a goal, it's our standard. Because we only run in select circles.